Alright. Also, don't really kill me that this is hanging. This is getting changed, the hoses are getting changed, all that. It's old. Anyway, we're back to the Honda build. Still, no motor, and now, no subframe. I'll show you that in a second. I don't have anything put in the block yet, only because I was trying to figure out which route I wanted to go. Did I want to go? Also, I'm out of breath. I was just wrenching on something that was super tight. I'm old, half fat, so.
Damn, boy!
I was trying to figure out which way to go. Did I want to go with better sleeves? Did I want to go with a block guard? You know, the metal press in. Some people have good luck with them. Some people say they throw it out around. Obvious reasons. Well, I decided I'm going to go with epoxy. Should be in somewhere later this week how to epoxy the entire top without it crushing in on each cylinder, making them out around. But anyway, on to what I'm actually doing. I have, you've seen this box, my max heating rods, CoileOvers. I'll show you how to adjust those in a second, set preload, and height is really, I don't know, general depending on how you want to go. I try to leave max like this much threads in. Just, it's good measure. I mean, especially considering the brand. If you look, it is pretty much the drop that I wanted. A couple inches. I might raise it up, lower it more. I don't know. We'll see how this fits, because I don't know what the compression was of the old one when you let it down. Alright, so there's a few videos talking about how to set preload on CoileOvers. And don't kill me. Yes, I got max heating rods, but it's a budget build, man. Give me a break. I'll get better later. It's not that big of a deal. Plus, these were like $380, and like 10s are like $900 to $1,000, and I'm just not about that life right now. How you do preload? You want to start with it loose, not exactly touching. Then you bring this ring up to finger tight until there's no slop. And then you bring this ring to touch this ring until there's no gap in between. Then you tighten this ring until and while holding this ring in place, you just measure with your tool the gap, and you set your preload. Just spin this dude up, and then tighten, lock this one against this one. Now you're set. I have another box there that has my front end suspension parts. Like a brand new upper control arm, ball joint, and both end bushings. Don't want to install this back in there yet until I get that bearing pressed out. So I'm probably going to get new bearings and press those bad boys in before I put this back on. But I'll at least install this today and put the coilover up in place. Like I said, don't kill me. I know that's hanging. It's bad. But it's keeping the brake fluid in there and not on my floor. There's a lot of rust on this front subframe. No rust. Clean as can be. So I have to get a new subframe, which sucks, but it's not that bad. But what happened last night was, had a bolt snap right off the welds on the inside. Right in there. So I had to cut a window. And I'm hoping I don't have to in this one, but it'd probably be a lot easier on this side because these two bolts were both stuck. I don't need the power steering anymore because I actually have a manual rack. I just need all the hardware off, like these bolts, because I'm not using this, but I have another motor mount. I need the arms off, I need the sway bar off, and then a couple different hangers, and then I can throw all this outside and get a new subframe ordered because I have everything to fill the subframe. I just don't have a subframe. Man, I really thought this was going to be different. But yeah, I'm doing this, and then I should have another video up later tonight. What I find in the when I take the gas tank down. Yeah. Wish me luck. Alright, so this tank, look at all the rust. Dude, the car is so much cleaner than this underneath. I promise I'm not putting all this money into this thing for no reason. But this entire section, all the way down, as you can see, it's still wet. All of that, all leaking. But where is that? Oh, the split was right here. I just continued the split. It was all cut right there on the bottom. So I'm gonna get a new tank. I was gonna do a fuel cell, but then that just leads to a whole thing and like new fittings and lines and everything, and that'll be a later thing. All right, got that in. A little tight fit to get that in there. It's in there. Everything looks nice now, except that caliper that still needs replaced. Yeah, look how nice these are. Not bad. From Detroit Axle. Comes all brand new. Everything's already installed. I got new axles in there and some bushings and stuff. I'll show you. I got sway bar end links and new tie rods and new boots. And let's see, there's lower ball joint, tie rod in. Not tie rod in, sway bar link. Another tie rod in. My new axles. That big box is the manual steering rack, but that'll get put in when my new subframe comes in. Making some progress today. God, I can't wait to get that thing finished. Pain in my ass. Everything's so expensive. It's cooler than doing a motor swap, because everybody can do a motor swap. But this is keeping everything in tradition of what it is. It should be a pretty good day. I have all the salt I need once it focuses. The looks I got from the dollar store, buying a whole bunch of salt and one roll of masking tape. This makes sense in a second. I have no upper cylinder support, so instead of actually buying one of those girdles, which can and will deform the round of your sleeve, and then you have to get it machined when you press them in. I don't care which one you use, they're all going to do it. And that aluminum is not the same thickness or same composition of this aluminum, so there's a chance that that aluminum girdle could heat up or contract, expand and contract different rates than the sleeve and the block itself, to cause other problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run epoxy. So basically what I got to do is I have to block off this hole right here for the water pump, fill tire water jacket with salt all the way up to 3/4 of an inch, and then mix up my resin that's right there and then lay it in. But before I do that, I have to level out this block, because right now it's not very level. It's a lot more level. It's in the line technically. I just used some of my plates for my press, and I should be good to go. Alright, it's all masked off. I just got to cut it out, but before I do that, I got to fill that hole with some thumb gum. That's why it's super nice that I do heating and cooling, because I always have this stuff laying around. Plug the hole. Have it all nice and trimmed out. Now to add the salt. Now real quick, some of the things I found out that are pretty easy to do. Find a bolt that's about 3/4 of an inch that fits right in there. So that way, when you have all the salt in there, you can make sure it's good and go all the way around it and smooth it all out. Make sure it's got a good head on it too, so that way it doesn't fall in. Then you gotta dump the salt and everything else. But all right, let's start pouring. This is gonna take forever. Most of your pressure happens up top. Piston only really rides like here to here. The stroke isn't very much. You gotta think. There's the crank. Here's the top of the cylinder. Like, that's not that much. But most of your pressure gets built up top. So you don't really need the full block. I mean, honestly, let's be honest. If you did, you're putting sleeves. Or you get a solid aluminum billet machine block. This is so I can have a streetable D16, not have to worry about cooling. But I'll show you, it's not, the epoxy won't be 100% solid on the top. What I'm going to do is, once the epoxy's set, which is going to take like a couple days, is usually what I do. I mean, I haven't done this in forever. 35. Last time I did any engine building or car building in my 20s. Cars I wish I still had. The thing why you keep seeing me going all around is because if I have any higher lows, that's spots that aren't going to be the same pretty much not enough resin where you want it, and it could cause a weak spot. All right, let me mix up this resin and get to pouring. All right, get to pouring. Pretty much the perfect height. All right, as you can see, it's all nice, it's set up and solid, exactly how I wanted it to come out. Take this, lay you like that. See, every one of these holes I have to drill out. I don't have to actually go to the full size, obvious reasons, but like maybe basically that size is the whole size that I need. I know it seems crazy. I don't really have to go that hardcore, but just that whole size is all I really need. I might go a little bigger just for these, just because this side is where it all hits in and then flows across and then goes through there. Still have to unplug. I haven't flushed it out or anything yet, but tomorrow, which you guys won't see until the next video, I get to do all this. Put the whole bottom end together. My super nice Speed Factory no notch rods, Vitara standard bore pistons, ACL race bearings, my original crank that is still super nice. I get to put all this together tomorrow and finally get my entire bottom end done. Next part for this block is going to be to order is my ACL high volume pump. I still have to get my sump welded so I can put that all back together for the drain for the turbo, and I gotta get my valve cover welded for the 10AN fitting for my catch can. I gotta start doing the head parts, which you'll see fairly soon. You know, I gotta buy parts like one or two at a time. I'm not made of money, you know what I'm saying? I mean, this whole thing's gutted. Doing the best I can. Till then, I'll see y'all later, and hopefully by the next time I see you, all of that's in there.